Right now at 10, Duluthians won't pay more in property taxes next year. The rare action taken tonight at City Hall and what had many in attendance concerned. Plus, what was recently an old condemned building on Duluth's hillside is now brand new housing. A first look inside. And Northern News Now investigates why the sirens didn't sound in some Northland communities during last week's tornado warnings.
Live from the KBJR TV studios, this is Northern News Now.
Good evening, I'm Dan Wool.
And I'm Laura Lee. Thanks for joining us. Duluth residents won't see a property tax increase next year after action taken tonight at City Hall.
Now, the council met to set the maximum property tax levy, aka the max amount property taxes could go up next year, as city councilors voted unanimously to make it a flat levy increase at 1.85%. It's a flat increase because that 1.85% will be paid entirely by new economic growth and therefore won't be passed on to homeowners. And Mayor Reinert is happy with the move, saying it's the first time in a decade Duluth's had a flat levy increase.
People are really feeling that property tax pressure. And as I said in my State of the City, this year was about giving people a breather, just pumping the brakes a little bit.
Well, there was a lot of public comment at tonight's meeting involving funding for the Human Development Center's crisis response team. It is a group of mental health professionals trained in de-escalating and intervening during a crisis. When first proposed, Reinert's budget moved to decrease funding for that team. However, Reinert later clarified he does support funding the group for another year. Well, tonight, residents talked about how important they believe the crisis response team is and their concerns that funding could eventually disappear.
The number of Duluth citizens utilizing the mobile crisis team is increasing. If funding is cut, where will the support be for those in mental crises? Will it come from our already overextended ERs? Will it be pushed onto law enforcement or the fire department who are not properly trained to provide the specialized care?
Now, the council will hold a final vote on the levy and more than $100 million budget come December.